welcome to another Sci-Fi Fantasy Saturday. I want to start by apologizing for my energy level or lack thereof. I just got back from spring break. Actually, my last one, or my family's last one with my son while he's still at home because he heads off for college next year. And actually, this spring break was to visit some colleges, but also try to have some fun for the rest of the family as well. And I did several Kilroy from the Roads. You want to check out my playlist on that. You can see some of the places we went to. I didn't do a video everywhere, but try to check in every once in a while. But it was a lot of driving, cold weather, really cold weather. It was in the 30s for spring break. That's kind of cool, especially when you're going south. And I must have picked something up along the road because I'm feeling pretty weak and achy right now. Nobody else in the family has it, so I'm trying to stay away from them. And this is how I stay away from them. I go to my game room and shoot videos. So today we're dealing with Godzilla Tokyo Clash. Now, Godzilla holds a special place in my growing up, but also in my kids. I grew up with the Godzilla or the Monster of the Week movies back in the day, back when there was only, I think, 3 TV channels, maybe 4 if you were lucky, and they would have a after-school movie, and sometimes they would have Godzilla Week and show all the different Godzilla movies, maybe even throw in a King Kong or two. But So that was something that I remember. My next door neighbor was a huge Godzilla fan, and even had the like I can't remember how tall it was, like 3 feet tall Godzilla action figure. It was pretty crazy. My kids though, when they were younger, my 2 oldest, when we were in the van going on trips and spring breaks and other places, we would watch some of the old Godzilla movies. They liked the one with Mothra. At least my oldest daughter really liked that one. So this kind of ties it all together on Sci-Fi Fantasy Saturday, since we just got back from a road trip, and we used to watch a lot of Godzilla movies in that road trip. So this is a strategy game, ages 10 plus, 2 to 4 players, and basically you are playing one of these fine creatures here and trying to destroy Tokyo. And you're going to have a map here that has hexagonal pieces, and you're actually going to have some little minis for the buildings, and your job is to try to destroy the city and build up power and then take on the other monsters. And as it says here, Tokyo Clash, ultimate battle for Kaiju dominance. Choose from 4 iconic movie Kaiju: Godzilla, King Ghidorah, Mothra, or Megalon. So I had to get this since it had Mothra in it. And prepare for maximum mayhem. Build a different version of the classic 1960s Tokyo cityscape each time you play using modular tiles. Gain power by throwing trains, tanks, battleships, and enemy Kaiju into buildings and at other Kaiju. Master your Kaju's unique combat style to deal devastating attacks and become king of the Munsters. Now, this is part of the Funko line of games, and those games are not too bad. Funko is known, for those big-headed dolls, small big-headed dolls. But some of their games I've been impressed with. They've done a relatively good job of putting out quality gameplay, and this one I think is fits into that category as well. I've read up on a lot of this and saw some of the videos, and this looks interesting, and I eventually found it as a bargain and decided to pick it up. I go back to the day where we played oh, well, I mean, not too far back in the day, but there was a game called from Hasbro. I think it was called like Monster Smash. As I'm talking here, I'm trying to look on my shelf, and it's buried somewhere. I do have too many games. but I think it was called Munster Smash or Smash Up or something like that. And it was a decent game. It was definitely a creature of, I think it was a reprint, and it was a creature of its time. It took a while to play. You basically played and build up your monster or Kaiju, and the other side on your turn they would take the tanks and the little people and try to attack you. And then at the end of the game, there was a big, one-on-one battle to see who won the game. So, um, okay, I took a quick break there to get my energy back, but I found the game. It's Munsters Menace America, and this was a good game, but it was a little long. A little, it sometimes it outstayed its welcome. It had great bits, and the gameplay was fine. Had some neat asymmetrical gameplay, and then also on your turn, you play your Kaiju, but the other side plays the defenders of America. But anyway, so this game right here, to me looks like it might replace that game and do a much more streamlined job of it. So with that, let's take a look inside and see what we get in this game. Now, these games have a tendency to come with these stickers on the side here. Sometimes they leave a little bit of a residue. Sometimes they don't. But the stickers generally come off okay. But they don't. These don't come in shrink wrapped. So, and you can just take those stickers off, those tabs off later. So you got the box here. It's not an overly thick box. I mean, it's just good enough to hold all the contents together. It's not like paper thin, but it's not super thick. One thing that the Funko games, they have decent components on some things, and other things they skimp a little bit. Like usually cards or player boards or their boxes are a little bit on the thin side. Here's the rules. And one thing I like already out of the box is you get the, you're not having wasted space on the back of the rules because you have your game summary. So you've got your different phases here: oxygen destroyer phase, action phase, refresh phase, event phase, and end of game scoring. So you have that right on the back. The rules themselves are 15 pages, but there are some discussion of the different Kaiju and some of their special abilities. And so really you're looking at, then you got an explanation of the events. So the rules proper are only 12 pages, it looks like there. And full color, you've got your start off with the objective, the setup, and there's different ways to set up the game between 2 and 4 players. You've got your different buildings that you're going to put out and where to put those out. You've got your oxygen destroyer marker. And I think that's the theme here is that the city is trying to suck all the oxygen out to kill you. I think that's it. Maybe it's putting it under a bubble. I don't know. But they always come out. Once the humans deploy the oxygen destroyer, it's time to leave Tokyo, and the most dominant Kaiju claims victory. Okay, so here's the player setup. You have your own individual setup board. Here's the different phases. Here's the action phase, discard action, playing Kaiju cards. This is a card-based game. You're going to be playing cards to do different things. It has an energy cost. It's going to have like your move, attack, and defend on the card. It might have special effects, and there's like a dominance value as well. Here's your action phase, continued. Using a Kaiju card to attack, you can throw. You got vehicles, you got Kaiju. You can throw a Kaiju. How about that? Here's the buildings. And I think there might be some stickers or something I got to put on the bottom of these to note what their rewards are, maybe. But you got a tower, power plant, military bunker, radar dish. And the minis look fine enough. You've got small buildings, and then you got vehicles and lightning generators. Those look like they might be counters. Dealing damage, ranged attack, passing, refresh phase, event phase, and check to see if the game is ended. So you're going to have this kind of game end chart where the auction was it the Oxygen Destroyer? Yeah, the Oxygen Destroyer is moving on this track here. Then you have End of Game. This is talking about some of the event cards, and this is talking about some of the Kaiju's special powers. So there is the rules. Then we've got some cards here. What we got here? We've got some Kaiju here. Look at that. Look at that thing. Interesting. And this looks like, we got some stands here, some bases. Everything is individually wrapped. Interesting. Here's Mothra. So that's probably the stand for Mothra there. Here's the man, the myth, the legend. Or her. Not sure how you want to deal with Godzilla. I think in one of the movies, Godzilla had babies. Then we've got Ghidorah. So there are some of the minis in there. You get some little plastic cubes. Imagine that maybe to keep track of something on your player board, maybe. We've got some tiles. I'll undo those here. We've got some buildings. Let's pull some of these buildings out here. My dexterity is at an all-time low today, so maybe I won't pull them out of here. Here we go. We've got some of the buildings here, and they're nice plastic. So if you want to use these for something else, you can. A little radar dish. We got some different buildings in there, and I think there's like some circle tabs or something that goes in there. We've got the player cards. We'll get those out, or the player boards, I should say. Then you have your, looks like there's 2 counter sheets there. And those are the things that you need to pop in to the bottom of the building. And then there's some other, like there's some jets there. Looks like there's a UFO or flying saucer there. So some of these things are represented by, cardboard, and other things are represented by little plastic minis. So take your choice for which you're interested in. Just trying to get these open here. Bear with me, all. I am struggling today, but I'm trying to keep up with my content the best I can. Can't even get that off. So, relatively thin. The plastic's actually better than the cardboard there. There we go. And you can see the thickness of those here. So that's your thickness. Not horrible, but not, not super thick. I guess the quality might be okay compared to some of their other games. You got a whole bunch of stuff here. I think these are smaller buildings. So, and that's like the value, I think, when you take them out, destroy them. Look at that. I'm already stomping on some of the Kaiju already. Look at the cards here. The cards kind of have an interesting, kind of a little bit of a weathered look or worn look. Guess that saves for having to print really high quality stuff, maybe. They're a little thin. I mean, they're not horrible, but they're a little thin, and they kind of have this little bit of a weathered look here. And I imagine these are individual decks for each of the different, like this one is Mothra's deck here. You see an example of some of her cards. Oh, that was my daughter's favorite characters. And then you got some of what you use them for, and if they have a special ability, and dominance, and cost, and so it's kind of a card-based game here. But each of the Kaiju are going to have their own deck. There might be some repeats, but basically it's their own deck here. A lot of drill attacks here. This is Megalon. Then we got Godzilla. Victory Pose. Heat Ray, Crushing Grip, Rush. Okay, power-ups. That Heat Ray, that's a big one of his. So that is Godzilla, and then we have We have King Ghidorah. Got the triple beam there. So all kinds of different special abilities. So, you know, very unique in that regard. Let's look at the player boards here. I can tell these are going to be a little thin here. At least the main player board. This one right here. Let's see here. Move these out. These are a little thin. Not horrible. I mean, it's not paper, but a little thin. And this is probably where you keep those little cubes to keep track of stuff. You've got ability and energy sources. Head, what is that, meter? So each one of them has their own. And it looks like they have some different abilities and a different, like he has a different head meter because he's got 3 heads, right? Yeah, there you go. So you got to take out the different heads. So the player boards are different depending on the kaiju as well. So there's that. And then we have, these are event cards here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 events. So I wonder if they get reshuffled back in or what happens there. That doesn't seem like a lot of events, but there you have it. And they're double-sided, and talk a little bit about how you work it. Maybe these are different scenarios. Yeah, maybe these are different scenarios because they have a setup on the back. So maybe those are different scenarios. Then we have the, well, that's actually thicker than I thought. That's the oxygen destroyer board to kind of keep track of the game. Then we have the tiles themselves, or the cityscape. Man, I'm really suffering today, folks. There we go. Looks like we got a center place there, possibly. They're of decent thickness, and they're already punched out. So you got your different places here. A little dark, but I think you can kind of make some of the stuff out there. Some variety. It's at night because you got all the street lights on. And they're single-sided, so kind of a missed opportunity there. You could add a little bit more replayability if you had dual-sided of these tiles. But again, the Funko games are not, I mean, they're decent gameplay, but they're not for premium or deluxe experience. So you got a lot of those that you're going to put out, and there was a thing in the book on how you set those up. And there you have it. That is what you get in a box of Godzilla Tokyo Clash. Yes, Tokyo Clash. There we go. There's Godzilla. Got to see this bad boy. Good quality plastic there. Mothra. Let me get all these out. And there's all the goodness that comes in the box. So not bad. I mean, they could have done all cardboard, and they didn't, but you got quite a bit of different variety in here. And as I said, it's been a while, but I've watched some gameplay videos, and they all came out. It was all pretty nice, or pretty solid. So there you have it. Will this game here replace or dethrone or become King of the Munsters? Will it knock this one out? Munsters Menace America. And will this one take over? So anyway, I'd love to know your thoughts on any of this. Godzilla movies, Munsters Menace America, the Tokyo Clash, Funko games, anything you want to talk about. Just talk about my trip. I don't care. Just keep it civil. Anyway, I thought I'd get this filmed, and then I'm going to get some rest. Anyway, take care all, and have a good one. Thanks for watching.